I participated in a paternity test show. When the results came out, my fiancé and mother-in-law, who had accompanied me, turned pale. Seeing me embraced by my birth parents dressed like rednecks, my fiancé pointed at my nose and cursed, "I thought I was marrying into a tycoon's family, but it turns out you're just a poor nobody." My mother-in-law slapped me, "The engagement is off." A redneck seed trying to marry my daughter? A frog trying to kiss a princess, wishful thinking. Little did they know, standing before them, my birth parents, dressed in their humble clothes, were the genuine landlords of 1,000 properties. One, let us congratulate these parents on successfully finding their child. The host, Tom, solemnly announced the results of the paternity test. The two unremarkable middle-aged men and women on stage were already looking at me with tears in their eyes. "My son, you have been lost for so long, your mother has been searching everywhere for you. Mom has been thinking of you all night and can't sleep." I hugged my hunched parents and couldn't help but burst into tears. Since I could remember, I had lived in the Riverdale orphanage. Hank Douglas, the tycoon of Riverdale, took a liking to me at first sight and brought me home to treat me as his own son. But I never gave up the idea of finding my biological parents. Today, my wish has finally come true. I excitedly signaled to my fiancée, Chelsea Monroe, who had come with me, but only saw a look of disgust on her face. After the show, I took my biological parents to meet Chelsea Monroe. "Chelsea, these are my parents, and I will live with them from now on." Chelsea Monroe looked displeased and looked me up and down. "Hank Douglas Jr. Are you really going to give up your identity as the tycoon's son and live with them?" I was still immersed in the joy of finding my biological parents, and casually replied, "Yes, we have already discussed it with the Douglas family, and they have no objections." Before Chelsea Monroe could speak, Mrs. Monroe put her hands on her hips and struck a fighting pose. "Then you will have nothing to do with the Douglas family in the future?" I nodded blankly. "It's impossible to have absolutely nothing to do with them. I will come back to see them when I have time." Chelsea Monroe's face instantly turned gloomy, and she tore off her disguise and cursed, "I only got engaged to you because you were Hank Douglas's son, the tycoon's only son. I didn't expect you to be a real pauper. I'm telling you, you can dream on if you want me to marry you." I hurriedly stepped forward to pull Chelsea Monroe's hand. "Chelsea, don't you love me as a person? Was all the sweetness we had before fake?" Chelsea Monroe threw off my hand, not hiding the disgust in her eyes. "Love you? Are you kidding me? Why don't you look in the mirror? Without the Douglas family's halo, what are you? Don't really think I love you, you poor nobody, it's ridiculous." I wanted to continue to ask, but Mrs. Monroe slapped me directly. The loud sound attracted attention from others. "Still want to pester my daughter? A frog trying to kiss a princess, based on your and your parents' lowly status, my Chelsea wouldn't even look at you twice on the street. I'm telling you, break off the engagement now, don't even think about getting involved with my daughter." My parents just wanted to open their mouths to explain, but Mrs. Monroe scolded them back, "You guys shut up. I can smell the smell of poverty as soon as you open your mouths, aren't you ashamed? You rednecks, don't say you know us in the future." After saying that, Mrs. Monroe pulled Chelsea Monroe and the two of them twisted their butts and left, leaving only the three of us stunned in place. I looked at my elderly parents and cheered myself up and comforted them. "I'm content as long as we are a happy family." My mother touched my messy hair and said softly, "Son, actually, your parents have a secret." My parents smiled mysteriously at each other, which confused me. After arriving at the parking garage, a Mercedes-Benz suddenly stopped in front of us. The car window slowly lowered, revealing Chelsea Monroe's face, with a look of disdain in her eyes. "Yo, what are you doing in the parking garage? You wouldn't have parked your shared bicycle here, would you?" After saying that, she covered her mouth and laughed, and even the driver in the car chuckled. "Shut up. Even if my parents don't have money, that's not a reason for you to make fun of them." Chelsea Monroe rolled her eyes. poor people still want dignity? Shameless. I blushed with shame. My mother put me behind her and retorted, people as vicious as you deserve to be ugly. The word ugly deeply touched Chelsea Monroe's pain point. She instantly became furious. What are you pretending for? One facial mask that I use on my face is worth more than your family's living expenses for a month. Just as we were arguing, a light suddenly shone from behind us. I squinted my eyes and looked, and it turned out to be a limited edition Rolls-Royce. I pulled my mother and quickly stepped aside. My mother patted my hand in return. Son, let's get in the car, your father has already driven the car over. I thought my mother was confused by Chelsea Monroe. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about? That's a luxury car, we can't afford it. The Rolls-Royce stopped beside us, and my father in the driver's seat beckoned us to get in the car quickly. I stared at everything in front of me in stunned silence. Do you like it, son? There are many more at home. After a while, go with your father to pick one you like. Tisk, poor people are really good at pretending. Is it interesting to pretend to be rich? Chelsea Monroe's sarcastic voice came into my ears. In order to pick up her son, she even rented a Rolls-Royce to show off. It's really sad to think about it. There are many more at home? Don't really think you are rich, do you? I tugged at my mother's clothes and said softly, won't it be too extravagant? My mother patted my back comfortingly. Son, straighten your back, you will take over everything in the family in the future. On the other hand, Chelsea Monroe was laughing so hard that she couldn't straighten up. Family property? What is it, a broken bicycle? It's really killing me. Stop pretending, it's really full of loopholes. After all, poor people have never experienced the life of the rich. Driver, let's go, lest their smell of poverty drifts into the car. The Mercedes-Benz drove away in front of us, and the exhaust fumes choked me so much that I coughed. Sitting in the Rolls-Royce, I was so nervous that I didn't know where to put my hands, for fear of getting it dirty and having to pay for it. My mother saw my restraint and softly reminded me, son, the car belongs to our family, you can sit however you want, relax. Although I agreed verbally, I didn't believe it in my heart. After all, my parents were dressed plainly. Ordinary people would definitely wear their best clothes on the show. I don't know how long we drove before the car finally stopped. Son, we're here. I rubbed my sleepy eyes, and when I opened my eyes, I saw that the car was parked in front of the Riverdale Heights. The Riverdale Heights was very large, with probably thousands of households. The densely packed windows made me dizzy. Although it wasn't as rich and wealthy as the Douglas family, I was content to have a warm little home. Mom, which house do we live in? 3. My mother looked at my confused face and smiled lovingly. Silly child, all 1,000 houses in the Riverdale Heights belong to our family. Our family has 10 Riverdale Heights like this. My father got out of the car and patted my shoulder. Son, you have suffered in the Douglas family before, everything from our Shin family will be yours from now on. Looking at my parents' sincere attitude, I instantly realized. I took their hands, the rough backs of their hands were full of traces left by age. The thick calluses in their palms rubbed me painfully. Dad, Mom, being able to recognize you is my greatest luck. It doesn't matter if we have money or not. I will be by your side no matter what. You don't have to lie to consider my feelings, and don't take what Chelsea Monroe said to heart. I don't love her anymore, no one is more important than you. Tears welled up in my mother's eyes, and even my strong father couldn't help but turn around and secretly wipe away his tears. Good boy, your father won't mistreat you. After the warmth, my mother was the first to react. Son, don't you believe what Mom said? I scratched my head awkwardly. Mom, you were dressed so plainly on the show, you look like an ordinary family. I know you rented a luxury car to welcome me, but don't waste your money on that in the future. It's good to live in an ordinary Riverdale Heights, I'm willing to live in the countryside. My parents looked at each other and burst out laughing. My silly son, what Mom told you is the truth, why don't you believe it? Then what's with your outfits? My mother blamed my father with a push. It's all your father's bad idea. He didn't want to make too much noise and let everyone know our family's strength, for fear of attracting unnecessary trouble. Seeing that I still didn't quite believe it, my mother continued, think about it, if our family really didn't have money, how could we have brought you back from the Douglas family so easily? That's true, the Douglas family has always treated me as their own son, so how could they let go so easily without sufficient conditions for exchange? I asked tentatively, then what benefits did you give the Douglas family? My father said casually, not much, just 10,000 square meters of land. I opened my mouth in surprise, 10,000 square meters, enough to build 10 Walmarts. My biological parents are even richer than the Douglas family of Riverdale? By the way, son, you can continue to work at the Douglas Corporation. Hank Douglas said that there are many businesses that need your help, depending on whether you are willing. If you are not willing, you can collect rent at home, and life will be quite happy. I thought about it, Chelsea Monroe also works at the Douglas Corporation. I'm going to work, after all, I still want to see someone regret their original decision. Early the next morning, a limited edition Porsche was parked downstairs at the Douglas Corporation. People passing by stopped to watch. Why don't I know that our company has a rich young master? Chelsea Monroe's eyes lit up when she saw it. I must win this man over. When the car door opened, Chelsea Monroe pretended to fall in front of the car door, making a delicate sound of ouch. My foot hurts so much, can you help me into the car for a while? The next second, Chelsea Monroe, who was full of springtime feelings, suddenly turned pale, opened her mouth and couldn't speak for a long time. How? How could it be you? For Chelsea Monroe, how low can you get? You're such a gold digger. I met Chelsea Monroe's terrified eyes and mocked her unscrupulously. How could you come out of a Porsche? After seeing that it was me, Chelsea Monroe immediately stood up from the ground. She frowned and cursed while patting the dirt on her body. I thought it was some rich young master, but it turned out to be a redneck who just reunited with his biological parents. What's wrong? Have you finished plowing the fields at home? After saying that, she covered her nose with a silk handkerchief in disgust. What a strong smell of poverty, stay away from me, it stinks. These words attracted colleagues who were rushing to work to stop and watch the show. Hey, isn't that Hank Douglas Jr.? Why are you arguing with your girlfriend? Don't talk nonsense, he is now Sam Shin, haven't you seen the news? Looking at this situation, the two of them must have broken up. Who doesn't know that Chelsea Monroe is a gold digger? I couldn't help but laugh at Chelsea Monroe's exaggerated performance. Before I met Chelsea Monroe, there were rumors about her in the company. Such as gold digger, greedy, and a freeloader, all in one. It's a pity that I was deeply in love at the time, and I couldn't listen to a word of what others said. I stubbornly believed that she liked me as a person, not money or other external things. It wasn't until now that I saw her true face. But fortunately, it's not too late. The driver saw that I was being embarrassed and got out of the car to explain to me, why are you talking about our young master? Our young master is used to being low-key and disdains to argue with superficial people like you. As soon as he finished speaking, Chelsea Monroe laughed unreservedly, laughing so hard that she trembled, which made people angry. Young master? I'm really convinced, Sam Shin, you're poor and you still want to save face? Don't think that you're really a rich young master just because you rent a luxury car, hire a driver, and wear famous brands. Go back and ask your mother, how many days are you planning to put on this show? Don't end up losing your savings for a rainy day. Everyone couldn't help but laugh secretly, but that's right, who would have thought that my biological parents would be richer than the Douglas Corporation? I calmly met Chelsea Monroe's teasing smile, without fear. Chelsea Monroe, in what capacity are you talking to me? A gold digger? The daughter of the Monroe family? Or a small employee of the Douglas Corporation? The Monroe family's property does not exceed $1 million, and she usually pretends to be a socialite with the black card that I gave her. By the way, I have stopped the black card that I gave you. After all, a rich daughter like you shouldn't care about this little money." Chelsea Monroe's face turned red with anger, and she glared at me angrily. "Sam Shin, are you pretending to be your mother? The son of a redneck should go back and farm the land. It's no longer possible to come to the Douglas Corporation to freeload with your former identity." I asked back, "What do you mean by that?" Chelsea Monroe's arrogant face revealed a viper-like viciousness. "Chairman Douglas has already fired you, don't you know? After all, you are no longer his son. Why is it different from what my father said?" I quickly brainstormed. Could it be that there was a problem with the communication? It's really shameless. After finding his biological parents, he kicked our chairman away. Thanks to him for treating you like this for decades and bringing you into the company to familiarize yourself with the business. Who knew he would raise a white-eyed wolf? I really don't understand what he is thinking. He is willing to recognize his biological parents even though they are rednecks? The surrounding colleagues were discussing. Seeing me standing there in a daze, Chelsea Monroe continued to step forward and said, "Sam Shin, the son of a mouse is only fit to dig holes, and a mouse like you is only fit to live in the dark sewers and eat garbage. If you kneel down and lick my shoes now, maybe I can arrange a job as a security guard for you." Everyone booed, and I squatted down accordingly. Chelsea Monroe looked down at me condescendingly. "Poor ghost, you are cheap to the core." Everyone took out their mobile phones and prepared to film the scene. Damn, Sam Shin is so spineless, I really didn't see it before. Can he compare to before? Before, he was the son of a tycoon, but now he is just the son of a redneck. I looked at the custom-made diamond-encrusted high heels on Chelsea Monroe's feet, and with lightning speed, hit away. A piece of chewing gum landed precisely on her shoe. Chelsea Monroe was still talking arrogantly, unaware of my little trick. "You want to pretend, don't you? I'll let you pretend enough. It's so dirty, so disgusting. If it were me, I would definitely throw these shoes away." The colleagues watching showed disgusted expressions on their faces. Chelsea Monroe was still completely immersed in the pleasure of humiliating me. "You can do such a dirty thing as licking shoes, it's really disgusting. These shoes are only a few million, it's okay to throw them away if they are dirty, everyone doesn't need to feel so sorry, after all, my family has enough money for me to squander." I stood up, folded my arms around my chest, and looked at her contemptuously. "Oh, really? It seems you need to buy a new pair." Chelsea Monroe looked down in confusion, and then burst into a scream. "Sam Shin! Do you want to die?" Looking at her furious look, I felt unspeakable joy in my heart. Chelsea Monroe wanted to wipe off the dirt on her shoes with distress, but she didn't know how to do it. She stood there anxiously spinning around. "What should I do? My shoes are limited edition, worth several million. What should I do if my mother finds out?" I returned her words just now to her. "Didn't you say to throw them away if they were dirty, and that you had enough money to spend without feeling bad? Could it all be just talk?" Chelsea Monroe's face turned red and then pale, like a color palette. It was really wonderful. "Which I saw me feel sorry for the shoes. You made my shoes dirty, you compensate me." I waved my hands quickly. "My parents are rednecks, they don't know if they can earn enough 1 million in their entire lives. You are so rich, why would you care about a poor person like me?" One sentence choked Chelsea Monroe back. "It's called fighting magic with magic." Chelsea Monroe wanted to say something more, but she caught a glimpse of the reactions of her colleagues. "You just said that a pair of shoes doesn't matter, but now you're starting to haggle over every detail." "That's right, even garbage bags aren't as good at pretending as she is." Chelsea Monroe had to grit her teeth and swallow her anger, looking like a toad. In order to maintain her socialite persona in front of others, she pretended to be nonchalant and said, "It's just a pair of shoes. I don't care." Saying that, she took off her shoes in front of everyone and threw them into the trash can. "No way, are you throwing away shoes worth several million just like that?" It seems that her family is really rich. Could the rumors be false? Only I knew that Chelsea Monroe's heart must be bleeding at this moment. I stood up and clapped my hands, as expected of Miss Monroe. You spend millions at a time. I admire you, I admire you. Chelsea Monroe glared at me with bloodshot eyes, seeming to stick out her tongue and launch an attack on me. I've seen too many poor ghosts like you. Why haven't you left yet? Are you waiting for the security guards to kick you out? Everyone's playful eyes fell on me, as if they wanted to see through me. Before I could say my real identity, a full-bodied voice came from behind me. What are you doing gathering here? 6. The top layer of full-grain leather shoes made a crisp clicking sound when they landed on the ground. The well-tailored dark blue suit set off the person's tall figure. He wore a Rolex worth millions on his wrist. Everything about him showed his identity. Good morning, General Manager. Everyone greeted respectfully. What are you all doing here? Don't you have to go to work? The Douglas Corporation doesn't support useless people. Everyone silently made way, and no one dared to say anything more. When Chelsea Monroe saw the person coming, she instantly pouted aggrievedly and squeezed out a few tears. Little Right, someone is causing trouble at the entrance of the Douglas Corporation. You must stand up for me. Saying that, her whole body was about to lean on Oliver Wright's body, and the pride in her chest was shaking so much that it was almost impossible to look away. It turned out to be the deputy manager of the Douglas Corporation. How did he take my position in just 2 days? When I was in the company, I was always at odds with him. Because he was Hank Douglas's nephew, I turned a blind eye to many things, and I didn't even publicize the matter of embezzling public funds. But he always looked down on me, thinking that I was just an orphan who got lucky and was adopted by Hank Douglas. He always said bad things about me in the company and even secretly sabotaged my projects. Oliver Wright stopped in front of me and looked at me with disdain. Isn't this Samson who just found his biological parents? Aren't you enjoying the joy of reunion? Why are you running to the entrance of the Douglas Corporation early in the morning to show off your power? The last 4 words were said very heavily, and the meaning of sarcasm overflowed. What's wrong? Didn't you go to work in the fields with your parents? It's not that I'm talking about you, even a dog doesn't tea. Why don't you help your parents? Chelsea Monroe continued along with the conversation. Could it be that someone is thinking of sucking the Douglas Corporation's blood again after recognizing their biological parents? The two sang in harmony, unscrupulously belittling me. Samson is really shameless. He still wants to come back to work. That's right, it can only be said that a shameless person is invincible. I looked at Oliver Wright's triumphant face and smiled playfully. Deputy General Manager Wright, when I was working under you before, I didn't see that you had such a big airs. Don't you really think that the Douglas Corporation will eventually fall into your hands? Oliver Wright's expression was obviously flustered, and he coughed a few times in a low voice to hide his embarrassment. But I didn't intend to let him go and continued. I didn't realize it. You are already general manager right now. No wonder you don't want to see me here. After all, once I come back, your position as general manager may not be stable. Oliver Wright was so angry that he was panting, and the veins on his temples bulged instantly. You're talking nonsense. What's wrong? Am I wrong? After all, you are an outsider, and I used to be Hank Douglas's son. You should know what's more important, right? You wouldn't have forgotten about embezzling employee wages by virtue of your position, would you? As soon as these words came out, everyone began to complain. No wonder, I said why my commission was suddenly reduced by $3,000 last month. I went to ask the finance department, and the finance department said I miscalculated. Me too. Damn, it turned out he was the one who did it. No, I can't swallow this breath. I'm going to report him. I'm going to find the chairman. Everyone responded and looked at Oliver Wright angrily, wishing they could swallow him alive. He deserved it. As a capitalist, he even wanted to devour the flesh and blood of the workers. Seeing this, Oliver Wright hurriedly waved his hands to explain, "Don't listen to his nonsense. The distribution of wages is completely reasonable." 7. Everyone was furious and determined to get an explanation. Oliver Wright's pale words had no effect at all. Chelsea Monroe stood up with her chest out. Don't talk nonsense, my salary hasn't been reduced by a penny. Those of you who have had your salaries reduced should reflect on whether you have worked hard enough. Don't blame Little Wright for anything. Hearing this, everyone began to hesitate again. I might as well add fuel to the fire. Reasonable? I don't know what General Manager Wright means by reasonable. Could it be reasonable to deduct everyone's wages? Then I turned to look at Chelsea Monroe. You received double the salary, and you still dare to come out and shout? Chelsea Monroe's arrogant aura instantly extinguished. It turned out that Chelsea Monroe often received double wages because she was my girlfriend. Because of my face, everyone dared to be angry but dared not speak out. I didn't know until the final financial settlement. Seeing that things were exposed, Oliver Wright clenched his fists and looked at me angrily. What qualifications do you have to talk about me, you redneck? Everything you are wearing is paid for by the Douglas Corporation, return it to me. After saying that, Oliver Wright pounced and knocked me to the ground, tearing my clothes fiercely. With a rip, there was the sound of fabric tearing. You're a poor ghost and you're still wearing famous brands, I'll let you pretend. Oliver Wright pressed me to the ground and swung his fists left and right. I'll let you frame me. You poor nobody. You still dare to appear at the entrance of the Douglas Corporation, I'll beat you every time I see you in the future. Chelsea Monroe, who was standing aside, clapped her hands and cheered. Little Wright is so handsome, good beating, this kind of person should be taught a lesson. I was beaten dizzy and saw stars. The driver hurried forward to stop him, but was pushed to the ground. In the midst of the chaos, a Maybach stopped in front of everyone. What's going on today? Why are there so many luxury cars? Maybe someone is here to discuss cooperation. The car door opened, and a man and a woman got out of the car. They were dressed nobly and luxuriously, showing their status. The sound of footsteps was getting closer and closer to me. I squinted my eyes and took a look. Dad, Mom, why are you here? Oliver Wright, who was facing away from my parents, thought I was crazy and became more excited as he beat me. What's wrong? Do you want to beg for mercy? I'm telling you, it's useless to call me Grandpa now. My father grabbed Oliver Wright's fist that was about to swing down and said sternly, How dare you beat my son? The tone was low and contained the imposing manner of a superior. Oliver Wright turned around and couldn't help but shiver. No way, they are actually Samson's parents? Didn't they say his parents were rednecks? Which redneck is so rich that they drive a Maybach and wear haute couture? Chelsea Monroe, who was on the side, took the initiative to offer a head. Look at you, trying to put on a show. What is it? Did you rent another car to impress your son? It's laughable. Uncle and Aunt, please, won't you face reality? I'm afraid you'll be eating dirt soon. Oliver Wright perked up at this. I thought Hank Douglas Jr.'s parents were actually rich. Turns out, it's all a facade. Take your son away, and stop embarrassing yourself. Someone in the crowd watching the drama suddenly said, Doesn't Shanshan's father look familiar? 8. His parents, having seen such snobbery countless times, were unfazed. His mother helped him up with concern. Are you all right, son? Should we go to the hospital? He shook his head, forcing a smile. Mom, don't worry, I'm fine. His father looked at him, saying with relief, Son, you are stronger than I thought. Then his expression darkened, and he glared at the two clowns before him. You will pay the price. Oliver Wright and Chelsea Monroe exchanged a glance and burst into laughter. Are you threatening me, old man? Chelsea Monroe said in a saccharine voice, Oh, I'm so scared. What should I do? Why don't you call the cops on me? He clenched his fists, wanting to punch them both, but his father stopped him. After making a phone call, his father calmly said, Son, don't worry. We'll have a good show soon. He looked at his father quizzically. His face was calm, without the slightest hint of panic. Did he really call the police? That's a joke. Does he think he owns the police station? A few minutes later, the crowd suddenly parted in an organized manner. A middle-aged man walked through. Oliver Wright, sharp-eyed, rushed forward to greet him. "Chairman, why did you come down?" The man was none other than Hank Douglas, chairman of Douglas Corporation. However, Hank Douglas ignored Oliver Wright's flattery and walked straight to his side. With a flattering smile, he said, "Brother Shin, it's my oversight that you've come today." "I'm truly sorry." His father grunted in acknowledgement. "Wow, who is Hank Douglas Jr.'s dad? The chairman is so humble before him? Does that mean Hank Douglas Jr. has gone from a rich young man to a super rich young man? My God, his luck is too good." The crowd's comments reached Oliver Wright and Chelsea Monroe's ears. Oliver Wright was pale with fear, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. In contrast, Chelsea Monroe deliberately pulled down her collar, bit her lip, and struck a seductive pose. "That's right, I remember now. Hank Douglas Jr.'s dad is Sean Shin, the former tycoon of Riverdale. No wonder he looks familiar. I heard that the reason Hank Douglas became the current tycoon is that Sean Shin lost his son and had no heart to continue in the business world. He withdrew from the business world to focus on finding his son. Even though he's long retired from business, the wealth and land he accumulated in his early years far exceed the total assets of Douglas Corporation by dozens of times." Oliver Wright staggered back a few steps, muttering that it was over. Hank Douglas looked at the bruise on his face and asked sternly, "What exactly happened?" His father said coldly, "The employees under Chairman Douglas are very impressive, actually hitting my son like this." Visibly, Hank Douglas swayed slightly, immediately forcing a smile. "I will definitely give you an explanation for this. Let's go to the office for a cup of tea and talk about it." Chelsea Monroe suddenly jumped out and gave him a flirtatious wink. "Douglas Jr. Why didn't you say you were rich? You made me misunderstand you. Let's have a good chat. After all, we are still engaged, aren't we?" He smiled and said, "Let's go together then." 9. The group of 5 went to the office. Hank Douglas respectfully poured a cup of good tea for his father, the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes filled with obsequiousness. His father took a sip and quickly got to the point, "Who bullied my son?" Hank Douglas's eyes fell on Oliver Wright, filled with despair and viciousness. Seeing that the situation was bad, Oliver Wright hurriedly explained, "I didn't know Douglas Jr. was Mr. Shin's son, so I took action to teach him a lesson." "I'm sorry, I was blind." His father stared at the flustered Oliver Wright and said slowly, "So, you're the one who has been bullying my son at the company? Relying on your identity, you don't know your place?" As soon as he finished speaking, he slammed the teacup heavily on the table. The imposing aura made everyone in the room afraid to breathe. "No. Let me explain." His father waved his hand directly, interrupting Oliver Wright, and turned to look at Hank Douglas. "Chairman Douglas, I heard he's your nephew?" Hank Douglas immediately replied respectfully, "The company only looks at right and wrong, regardless of relationships. If he does something wrong, he must be punished accordingly. From today on, you are fired. Pack your things and get out." Oliver Wright stared wide-eyed, unable to believe what he was hearing. He had just become the general manager today, and he was fired before he even warmed his seat. Oliver Wright knelt on the ground with a thud, his knees hitting the ground heavily, making a dull sound. "Please, I know I was wrong. Please give me another chance." Hank Douglas looked at Oliver Wright with disgust. "Don't think I don't know about your embezzlement of company funds." His father interjected appropriately, "Embezzlement of public funds is no small matter. I think jail time is a certainty." Hank Douglas, who knew the ways of business, immediately understood the subtext of his words and immediately said to the assistant, "Call the police immediately and arrest this traitor." Oliver Wright was completely stunned, frantically begging his father to let him go. His forehead hit the marble floor with a bang, and upon closer inspection, there was actually a trace of blood. The police arrived quickly, and Oliver Wright was dragged away like that, his miserable cries echoing in the company corridor. What awaited him would be the severe punishment of the law. 10. His father nodded with satisfaction and raised his teacup to Hank Douglas. Chelsea Monroe twisted her hips and walked to his side, saying coquettishly, "Douglas Jr. I was wrong before, but you were also wrong for hiding your identity. Let's just let this matter pass, and let's have a good life after we get married." He sneered and pushed her away. "Chelsea Monroe, I think you've got the wrong idea. We've already broken off our engagement. Didn't you say I was a poor loser who wasn't good enough for you?" "Oh, Douglas Jr. Are you still angry with me?" "I already know I was wrong, so don't be angry anymore." After speaking, she pouted her lips and showed an innocent look. Chelsea Monroe was truly capable of anything for money. He looked at her playfully. "Then how will you prove your sincerity to me? If I forgive you so easily, wouldn't I be letting my parents down?" Chelsea Monroe smiled awkwardly and asked softly, "Douglas Jr. I'm willing to do anything for you, even take my heart out and show it to you." Chelsea Monroe's sweet talk came easily. If it were before, he would definitely have believed it without hesitation, but now, he had already seen through the ugly inner workings beneath her face. "You also spent a lot of money on me when we were dating before. My family values fairness, so if you return the money you spent before, we can start over. That way, you can also show my parents your attitude. What do you think? I won't ask for much, $10 million. Think about it." Chelsea Monroe looked hesitant, and he said casually, "I'm going home in a little while. This is the only chance. See if you want to take it." Chelsea Monroe gritted her teeth and agreed, then started calling her mother. "Mom, transfer $10 million to my card right now." "What nonsense are you talking about? Our family only has a few $1,000,000 in total. Are you crazy for wanting $10 million? Chelsea Monroe explained the whole story, and the other party's attitude instantly changed 180 degrees. "You wait, I'll go borrow it now. Once you marry into the family, it will be more than just $10 million. After hanging up the phone, the money arrived in less than a minute. Chelsea Monroe hurriedly transferred the money to his card. Seeing the notification of receipt on his phone, he smiled with satisfaction. "Mom and Dad, let's go home." Chelsea Monroe followed behind him, acting like she was already a member of the Shin family. "What are you doing following me? Go do whatever you need to do." Chelsea Monroe looked at him blankly. "Douglas Jr. Aren't we going home?" He chuckled. "What are you dreaming about? Did you really think I was as easily fooled as before? I've already received the $10 million you owed me. From now on, we are strangers." Hearing this, Chelsea Monroe was instantly struck by lightning. "What nonsense are you talking about? That $10 million is all our family's savings. So what? What does that have to do with me?" Chelsea Monroe grabbed his sleeve like a madwoman and was restrained by the security guards. "Sean Shin. You dare to deceive me. May you die a horrible death." And he had already followed his parents into the Maybach and returned to the luxurious villa. For Chelsea Monroe, the cruelest revenge was to turn her, who valued money like her life, into a poor person. A few days later, financial news reported, a woman surnamed Ching in Riverdale jumped off a building last night. After investigation, it was learned that it was due to excessive pressure caused by family debts. Later, he learned that the Ching family had fallen into debt of millions overnight. At this time, they encountered a company cash flow disruption, and the Ching family's company directly declared bankruptcy. Chelsea Monroe went from a pampered young lady to a dishwasher in a restaurant. He turned off the TV and looked out the window. As far as the eye could see, all the properties belonged to the